Hey beauties, it's Nikea here with another mom vlog. I need like a theme song. Like it's a mom vlog for you, hey, hey. It's a mom vlog for your life, hey, hey. It's a mom vlog for you, hey, hey. It's a mom vlog for your life. Hashtag mom life. Copyright Nikea, JaLynn, 2018. Yes, that's my theme song. Alright, I'm back with another mom life vlog. Y'all don't judge me. And we are going to talk about sleep training. This can be a touchy subject for some people. Everybody does it differently. There's different ways out there for you to do it. But first, what you have to do is to do your research. That's the first thing that you have to do. You have to do your research, and it's all like trial and error. Like, see what works for your baby. You're gonna have people sharing their opinions. You're gonna have people saying what, you know, they did, what worked for them. But first and foremost, you have to do what works for you and works for your baby. Now with Harper, I did not start sleep training her until she was about 8 or 9 months because she was breastfed, and I fed her on demand majority of that time. Like, she kind of fell into a schedule of eating about every 2 to 3 hours, but it was mostly on demand when she wanted it. So yeah, those first months were tough. Like, I lost a lot of sleep. I was just tired all the time. So one day one of my coworkers told me, was like, Cook, you got to get her on your schedule or you're going to be on her schedule for a long time. So, you know, it was hard for me. And she told me this because I was sharing with her how Harper would wake up in the middle of the night, and I felt like she was using my nipples as a pacifier and just using breastfeeding as like a soothing mechanism. Which is okay. Like, when she was sick, you know, I would let her just nurse whenever she wanted and soothe her and stuff like that. But just on a regular basis, I didn't want that to become a habit because I still have to be a person outside of being her mom. So when she told me that, you know, I went home and talked to Harper's dad, and he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. She needs to be sleep trained, and, you know, you need to get some sleep. And that first night, it was rough. So I put Harper in her crib and closed my door and closed her room door, and she slept. I think she woke up once in the middle of the night, and I went to go get her. I nursed her. She went back to sleep, and I put her back in her room, and she stayed asleep. So I guess sleep training for Harper, I guess what I did was like the cry it out method and kind of cry it out, shut it out. So if I didn't hear it, then it wouldn't, you know, affect me so bad as like hear her crying, because even now, like, to hear her crying and I know I could fix it, kind of just, ooh, tears me up inside. But that was the method that I used. And a lot of people will tell you, and if you do your research, it'll say, like, if you're trying to sleep train, like, make sure the baby is like, it's just sleepy enough to where they're awake but they haven't fallen asleep yet, and then put them in the crib. But Harper would just always fall asleep on me or whatever, and then I would put her in the crib. That just worked for us. I don't know. We're an anomaly. We're the outliers, I guess. But that's just what works. Just try to establish a routine. I know I fell off a lot of times with the nighttime routine because I would just be so tired, or I'd be caught up doing something. So what I would do is give Harper a bath, you know, a nice warm bath. Give her a bottle if she would take it, or, you know, nurse her, you know, read to her, just, you know, soothing things, turn the lights off so that she would know that it's bedtime. And I would even do that when she was like a newborn, just only a few weeks old. Like, keep her in that routine, give her a bath, feed her, read to her, make sure the lights are off to, you know, help her go to sleep. I didn't worry too much about like loud noises and stuff, because inside the womb it sounds like a freaking vacuum in there, so babies are used to loud noises, and I didn't want to get in the habit of making things so quiet in the house that if there was a noise she would always wake up. But, you know, serious sleep training, started when she was 8 or 9 months. And, you know, I kind of like preluded to that with all the things that I mentioned before. And then I think maybe like the next day when I like seriously started sleep training, or maybe a couple days later, I feel like I slept through the night. Now Harper may have woken up, but I didn't hear her. Like my door was closed, her door was closed. And that was like the first time in a long time that I slept through the night, like 7 or 8 hours. And what worked for us is that, you know, in our old apartment, her room was on the other side of the living room. So it was our bedroom, there was a living room space, and then her bedroom. So that put some distance in between. And she was waking up in the middle of the night, and she would nurse, and I would, you know, feed her and put her back in the bed, or sometimes fall asleep, and she would be in there with us. But that routine started to work, and she just slept through the night. She picked it up very easily. Now, this is not a typical experience. This was just mine. There would be some nights where she would wake up twice or stuff like that, but I did my best, you know, not to nurse her every single time, so that she wouldn't get in the habit of just nursing whenever she woke up, and get her out of the habit of nursing in the middle of the night. Now, Harper did go through a sleep regression. I think it was like around 18 months, a little after she turned a year. And then she went through one recently here now, like over the summer, where she would sleep for a couple hours, and then she would wake up, and then she would only sleep in the room with us. And that had been going on for like majority of the summer. Like her sister came to visit, and then all like half of July, like half of June and July, she would just not stay asleep in her room. And like whenever she would fall asleep, like in the living room or something, and we would go lay her down, and as soon as I would like bring her to her room or try to go lay her down, she would wake up. And then if I left her, she would scream bloody murder, like somebody was trying to like attack her or something. And she would only like to fall asleep on us, or fall asleep in our room. Like as soon as we picked her up and took her to her room, she would wake up, she'd be like, no, no, no. And I'm like, Harper, what's going on? So EJ was like doing research. I was like, okay, let me just get her routine like even stricter, because it was summertime, so I was a little loosey-goosey with it. So I was like blaming myself for the regression. But you know, there's sleep regressions that happen at different phases, so it's just a part of it, and you just have to embrace it and just know it's a phase and it will pass. But I was like kind of blaming myself. We moved in the beginning of August, and I converted her crib to a toddler bed, and I was thinking, okay, maybe that, you know, that'll help her adjust, blah blah blah. It was still kind of like going through that regression. She wouldn't stay in her bed. She would get up in the middle of the night and come knocking on the door. But I made sure that one thing I did not do is I did not nurse her whenever she woke up. You know, she would be crying. I would just try to soothe her down back to sleep, because I knew that if I just started nursing her, this would just create a habit, and she would just start waking up in the middle of the night just to nurse, even though she didn't need it. And I put a post out on Facebook like asking mamas and daddies and parents about dealing with a child who's going through a sleep regression. And I feel like she has some separation anxiety too. I don't know what that was about. But somebody suggested like putting an article of our clothing on her pillow. And when we moved, I like remembered it, and I was like, oh, let me try it. So one night I took one of her dad's shirts and put it on her pillow and laid her down on top of that, and she stayed in her room. So that seems to be working and staying now. So she does wake up. Sometimes she'll wake up in the middle of the night, or like really early in the morning, like 4 o'clock. So I don't consider that middle of the night, like early in the morning, because I get up at 5:30. So sometimes she'll wake up at like 4:30, and you know, I'll bring her into the room, and that's when I'll nurse her, especially if we're getting up the next day. But if it's the weekend, I'm like, okay, Harper, you need to go back to sleep, and let her stay in the bed. And sometimes I feel like she just wants to be close to us. So I'm kind of enjoying it and just embracing this time, because there's going to be a point in time where she don't want to cuddle and be close with either one of us, you know. But you know, our bed is just not big enough to sleep with her in there, because Harper likes to stretch out and spread out and take up as much space. And then she also doesn't like sleeping under covers, so she'll be on top of the covers, and we're trying to be under it, trying to be cold, trying to be warm and keep the cold out. It's just the whole thing. But just dealing with sleep training, you have to try things and tweak them. It's all trial and error. The first thing you do may not work. The 100th thing you do may not work. You may have to add something and take away something and mix and match some methods. But all in all, do what works for you. If you want to co-sleep with your child, then do that. But if you want to, have your bed to yourself and have some space to yourself, sleep training is a good way to go. There are so many methods and ideas out there. There's so many things that you can do. And, just realize that if your child is going through a sleep regression or a growth spurt, there could be many reasons behind it, and it's not your fault. Like I said before, it's a phase. Embrace it, deal with it, go through it, and know that it too shall pass. A lot of reasons for sleep regression are just like changes in the schedule or routine, growth and development. Like they say, teeth coming in can be a sleep regression. If your child is having a growth spurt, which at this young age, these young stages they go through rapidly, that could cause a change in their sleep schedule. Just be observant and be diligent, and just do your best and sit back and breathe. And it's not your fault, mama. It's not your fault, daddy. It's just a part of life. So as far as sleep training goes, that's what I did. That's what worked for us. So hopefully you can take and learn something, and I hope that this helps someone out. Before you go, I want you to go ahead down below, click that red subscribe button, and right next to that, click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. Like I always say, it's free, it's easy, and it's fun. Again, beauties, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helped you out, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye.